Hi there, welcome to Shaw TV's coverage of the 25th Annual Whistler Cup. I'm your host, Sarah Wright, and I'm pumped to be here this weekend surrounded by so many inspirational young athletes. There's 420 athletes here this weekend, aged 12 to 15, representing their ski clubs and their countries. 20 nations are represented up on the hill, competing for slalom, giant slalom, and Super G glory. Many of the athletes here this weekend have a decent chance of maybe going on to the Olympics someday. But for now, their focus is right here in Whistler at the biggest international ski racing event in North America. Norway has taken home the cup for the last 2 years. Will someone else step up this year? Stick with us and you'll find out. While the skiers battle it out up here on the hill, down in the village, it's all waves, smiles, and a ton of team spirit at the Parade of Nations.
Why is there a fire truck driving through town, and why are all these kids screaming and waving flags? It's a great way to break the ice and have some interaction, and then everybody asks, what's the Whistler Cup? And the kids have the opportunity to explain why they are here in Whistler.
The Parade of Nations officially kicks off the annual festivities. The focus of Whistler Village is solely on these young athletes as they follow the Whistler Cup through town.
The idea is to bring all of the nations together and to showcase them to all of the village of Whistler.
It's been pretty cool so far. It's really awesome. It's a really cool experience.
I'm really excited for the parade.
My cousin was in it, so I'm really excited. I was like, oh, I want to be like her.
I think it's really a highlight for them. It's a really good opportunity for them to meet some of the other teams and some of the other athletes that are here. We have a really fun band that's leading the kids in the parade, and we have the return of some really high-profile ski teams this year, including the US and Switzerland and France are back to race with us. They walk with the old fire truck and they wave their flags and they get all the attention they deserve.
We love the Whistler Cup!
Lots of fun happening here at the Whistler Cup, and I'm joined by a very special guest, the first and only Republic of Ireland's ski racer, Elle Murphy. Elle, how's it going?
It's great, how are you?
Very good. What's it like being Ireland's only skier and first ever skier here?
Well, it's amazing. It's taken a lot of work and coordination over in Ireland, but it's been great.
And where do you actually train?
So I have dual citizenship with the US, and I mostly train out of Aspen, Colorado. And I've grown up there, but going back to Ireland is a big part of my life.
So was it an easy decision to decide to ski for Ireland instead of for your club?
Yes, growing up in Maine, I went back to Ireland all the time, and I really wanted to appreciate my roots of an Irish heritage.
Can you do a good accent for us?
Oh, God.
Don't worry about it. I can't do it either. So.
Yeah. Not really.
So talk to me about how you started skiing for Ireland and your early success this year at Andorra.
So it started with one of my old past coaches who brought up that I was from Ireland, and he just decided to go for it and join like the FIS Irish national team. And so this year was my first year competing abroad out of the US as an Irish racer. And I competed in Andorra and ended up placing top 10 in the Super G event.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now you've had some tough couple years here. 3 years ago, Elle actually suffered a tibia
plateau fracture.
Yeah, see, it sounds so painful I can't even say it. But you feel like you're in good form now?
Yes, over the summer I took a lot of conditioning and strength to get up to my best and be able to perform my best this year.
So how often do you train now?
Now I train 5 days a week up in Aspen, yeah.
Wow, that's a lot. And how close do you live to your ski hill?
I live about 50 miles away from my ski hill.
Wow.
And I drive approximately an hour to get up there and back.
So you must be a pretty busy girl with the travel time and the training. What else do you do for fun?
Well, I'm a varsity as a freshman in cross country and biking.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know that Whistler has some pretty good biking trails here.
I've heard. I may come up here during the summer.
What are you most excited about for the Whistler Cup?
I'm excited about meeting new people from different places and interacting with just the people here itself.
Oh, awesome. And you being the only athlete for Ireland, how do you feel about your uniform?
My uniform, well, I'm a bit out of the ordinary. My colors stand out from the original blue and red, but it's kind of nice to be up there and proud of my Irish heritage.
That's so good. Well, congratulations, and I hope you have an amazing weekend.
Thank you very much.
Let's head back up the hill. Since this weekend is all about the athletes, we thought we'd let them run the show a little bit. And I gotta say, I think some of them have a pretty bright future in front of the camera.
Hi, I'm George.
Hi, I'm Kate.
And we're from Australia. And there's a lot more action coming up in the Whistler Cup.
Coming up, we see who took home the hardware for day one. And we meet up with members of the host Mountain Ski Club.
Whistler Cup へようこそ。私の名前はゆきなです。では、第1日目の表彰式の模様をどうぞ。
The first award ceremony of the Whistler Cup was all about the Super G, starting with the U16 ladies. Taking home the bronze just 0.18 of a second out of first place was Sophie Sund Malin from Norway, and her teammate Ein Hogland was on the other side of the podium in second place. The big winner from Team Switzerland was Selina Egloff, finishing in 1 minute 6.33 seconds. On the men's side, the Canadians had a strong showing with two making the podium, starting with local ripper Nathan Romanen from Squamish in third, and Raphael Lessard took home the silver. It was a tight race, but Fredrik Williamson Haag from Team Norway came out on top with a time of 1 minute 4.24 seconds to claim the gold. After 1 day of competition, it's Norway, Canada, and Switzerland owning the podium. But it's early and there's a lot more racing to come at the 2017 Whistler Cup. Two Canadians already on the podium, pretty good start. And one of them is making a serious charge and becoming the next big thing on the Whistler ski racing scene.
I always put my left boot on first and the right boot.
Nathan Romanen, born and raised in Squamish, BC, makes ski racing sound and look easy. But obviously, there's more to it than just putting your boots on in a particular order.
Nathan is strong at most of the technical aspects to do with skiing. So great body position, well balanced, athletic. He has an ability that some people call a natural ability. I think it's something that you work for a lot when you're much younger.
I started skiing in the U12 age division, and then my career, I guess you could say, started taking off when I was about 13 years old, so my second year of U14. Those couple of years there, I started putting in a lot of work and put a lot of time and effort into it, and my results started showing that.
Exceptional results stem from a great attitude.
To race World Cup on the national team would be quite cool, but just always keeping a positive mindset and being happy with what I'm doing is my end goal. Don't be hard on yourself. Skiing, it's definitely a long learning curve sport, so take it slowly and just focus on what you're working on.
You're gonna get those elbows in, eliminate that scoop, right? Make yourself into a nice tight package.
Nathan's focus this winter has been to maintain his strength and mobility and to work on his tuck.
Elbows, Nate.
I'm usually training 4 days a week on hill and a lot of off-the-hill training too in the gym. I love learning new stuff in skiing, so learning something that I've been working on for a few months and getting it dialed in is a great feeling.
Here we go.
At this year's Canadian Championships in Thunder Bay, Ontario, Nathan brought the gold home in the Alpine Combined and silver in the GS. But it was a race that he didn't finish that best shows his character.
Came into the slalom, came up first run, skied spectacular, and course conditions were breaking down. So second run, and we're under the lights, and I get to watch him come down, and I thought maybe he's going to be nervous, maybe he's going to hold back or something else, and no, he charged like he was going to win both runs. Small mistake at the bottom, ended up blowing out, but seeing that that's your approach from your athlete to come down and be like, yeah, I'm going to go either win this thing by a second or blow out because I'm not going to hold on just for being on the podium. It's either the top step or nothing else. It was really nice for me to see that and see that he's got a good head on his shoulders when it comes to how to push, when to push, and it wasn't a silly mistake that made him blow out. It's just one of those things that happens in skiing.
After outstanding results on the national level, it's tough not to have high expectations for the international stage at the 2017 Whistler Cup.
I know what he's capable of. He's in his own class when it comes to racing in this province. My expectations are, and my hopes are, that he comes out and skis to his potential for these race days, and I think that will be exceptional results.
Since Whistler Cup will be my last race in my U16 career, so I'm going to be going in strong mentally and physically, and hopefully to put up some good results.
From one of the club's top skiers to the executive director, I'm here with Mark Tilston. Mark, when did you start with Whistler Mountain Ski Club, and where were you before you came to Whistler?
I started in May 2015, and before that I was coaching with a Spanish team, so we were travelling all over the world and racing on the World Cup circuit.
So you've been in a lot of competitions, you've been to a lot of different mountains. This is your second Whistler Cup. How important are events like this for, say, the development of ski clubs and their athletes?
I think they're enormously important for the development. It just gives the athletes that exposure to the international level, to the world class, but it also brings them all together, and they really develop friendships that last for life. You see a lot of the athletes on the World Cup that are still friends, having met at events like this, so it's enormously important.
So when you are, say, at the race and you're watching these kids get ready, you're watching them race and give it their all, what's going through your mind?
I'm just thinking about the race, really thinking about what we need to have set up. You know, you look at this year compared to years in the past, we've got 3 organising committees, 3 different events on at the same time. In the past was always 2. So really all that's going through my mind is the course ready, is everything running okay? And have you had any cool interactions with any of the athletes where they're just like, oh, I'm loving this, or we love Whistler, or anything like that? Yeah, I mean, you see an awful lot of kids that love Whistler. You know, when the teams came here, it was snowing a lot, and they were all up in the backcountry skiing some powder. They all loved it, and then they come into the races, and they're just all so excited. You know, it's a roller coaster of emotions. You get the kids who do great, you get the kids who have the disappointment, and it's all life skills, really. You know. Well, that's amazing. You see it all this weekend, so thank you so much for joining us. I know you're a busy guy, so I'll let you get back to your work. Thank you very much. All right, let's head back down to the village.
We're from the Mount Washington Ski Club. We have lots more coming up on the Whistler Cup.
It takes a lot of hard work just to get to the Whistler Cup, and one athlete has an extra obstacle to overcome. Also, who makes the podium after 3 days of racing? Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Whistler Cup. I'm Liam from Alpine Ski Club, Ontario. Let's take you down to the awards for Saturday night.
Saturday night's awards started with the U16 Ladies Giant Slalom. Taking home the bronze was Canada's Tora Hoshizaki. Switzerland held the rest of the podium with Aileen Hopley in second, and Selina Egloff claimed her second gold medal. For the U16 men's giant slalom, we had a tie for third between Norway's Andreas Amdahl and Rafael Lissard of Canada. Grabbing the silver was Diego Holscher from Team Chile, and taking top spot from Switzerland, Calum Kant. Moving on to the U14 ladies slalom, Tessa Foote of Canada claimed third place. Noah Zolos of Hungary was only 0.16 seconds off the top time, so she takes the silver, while Argentina's Sofia Lehmann stood tall on top of the podium in first place. In the dual slalom for U14 men's, we have 2 Canadians in the top 3. Hemming Solab claims the bronze, and Taylor Nellis takes second spot. In first, it's Shuto Ichimura taking the gold medal back to Japan. On to the men's giant slalom for the U14 age group. Aleksik Tomovic from Serbia came in third. Australia's James Huan takes silver, but was so close as he was only 0.14 behind Shuto Ichimura of Japan, who claims top spot for the second time of the evening. Sticking with slalom, but in the U16 ladies group, it was Switzerland's Aileen Hopley winning bronze, and second place went to Cassidy Gray of Canada. And once again, we find Selina Egloff on top, taking home 3 gold medals to sweep the U16 women's races. For the U16 men's slalom, Henry Hayden of Australia came in third, with Norway's Andreas Amdahl taking the silver. On top sits Patrick von Siebenthal of Switzerland. Capping off the night's awards is the U14 women's dual slalom. Noah Zolos of Hungary claimed bronze, with local Whistler skier Kayla Lafreniere coming in second. Top spot went to Penelope Hughes from Australia. Saturday's awards were well-rounded as we saw 9 different nations represented on the podium. Having this many teams with strong performances makes the final day's events crucial in determining what country will take home the 2017 Whistler Cup. It's obvious there's a whole lot of passion here in Whistler this weekend. You can see it in the athletes' faces, and every time they hit the hill, like they have nothing to lose. It takes a lot of hard work to get to where these athletes are. It also takes a whole lot of perseverance. Our next athlete is a great example of that.
I just love the speed and the technical part of just skiing. It's fun to just hit the gates. I just like going fast.
13-year-old Chase Burns out of Manning Ski Club has been ski racing since he was 5 years old. But recently, something has tried to slow him down.
In December, he was doing a lot of training during the Christmas holidays with his skiing. He was also playing on his basketball team at school with the holidays. We started noticing that he was really tired and he was really grumpy, but we just kind of brushed it off that he was a typical teenager.
Like I could barely make it down the run all the time and I was just really tired. I always had to go to the washroom, and whenever I had the chance I would always just get some water.
The last kind of thing was just even walking up the stairs to go brush his teeth was a chore.
With sunken eyes, extreme thirst, and drastic weight loss, a trip to the hospital on January 6th confirmed suspicions of type 1 diabetes.
It wasn't that much of a shock when we got there. It was maybe a little bit of a relief because we knew what it was. And then that's when all of the learning started for the next 5 days in the hospital.
I didn't know a lot. I was one of those people that thought you have to just like cut down on sugar. But once I started learning, I just knew that that's not how it is. It's just all the counting of carbs and stuff.
However, checking labels at mealtime isn't foreign for this Abbotsford family.
He was diagnosed with celiac disease at 16 months. So he's always had to be aware of what he's eating and his choices. So now, reading one side ingredient list, now we're just transitioning and reading the other side. We have to count the carbs, how many carbs are in each product. So the bread, for example, we know there's 12 grams per slice. The muffin, 30. This has 24 grams, and then you always minus the fiber.
Even with these precautions and injecting insulin at least 5 times a day, emotions, adrenaline, and several other factors can still cause Chase's blood sugar level to drop.
When I'm low, I get kind of dizzy. I just don't feel like I can do much. And then my eyes, I see yellow lights and stuff, then I get really shaky, and then I know.
How's it going?
Good.
Are you feeling okay?
Yeah.
Yeah? What's your level?
Ideally, Chase, his family, and his coach want to know his levels before he gets those feelings.
13.1.
And now they can with the use of their smartphones.
He still goes about his day as usual, but he has to check his blood glucose with his monitor. But we also have this new Dexcom, which makes it a lot easier. We know where his levels are going, so we can kind of get an idea with the phone.
With all this extra effort, some may wonder why anyone would continue to race competitively.
To be honest, initially I was a little bit worried just because I wasn't sure how that was going to work out. But then once, people started telling us, the doctors, his coach even too, started doing research, and there's a lot of professional athletes that all have been successful with type 1.
I was kind of scared for skiing. I didn't know what was going to happen, but it all turned out fine.
His dad and I are very proud of him. Even on the way to emergency, he had a moment of why me, but as soon as his dad got to the hospital, his positive outlook and his mindset just changed right from there, and he just said he's got this.
I just want to be one of the people that just, you can do something even if something's trying to stop you.
Chase was up racing just 2 days after leaving the hospital, and now he's back and ready to compete for his second time at the Whistler Cup.
For Whistler Cup, I'd be happy with like a top 15, top 10. I'm excited. Last year it was fun, and all the things that you get to do. It's just a really neat experience.
Hi, I'm Jack from Prince George, and we have a lot more coming up from the Whistler Cup.
Up next, one athlete is following in his family ski tracks, and we find out who gets to raise the coveted Whistler Cup. Welcome back to the 25th Annual Whistler Cup on Shaw TV. Memories are being made this weekend that are going to last with these young athletes forever. Many of them have come here with just their team and their coaches. A weekend in Whistler without parents sounds like a pretty awesome time for a teenager. And then there's those that came here with the support of their biggest fans, their families. Now, it's not unusual for kids to follow in their ancestors' footsteps. This next athlete has some pretty big shoes to fill. Hitting the slopes together is a common tradition for many families, but Dylan Stevens' family has taken it to a whole other level, starting with Dylan's grandfather, Bill Stevens.
He ski raced up the national team. I'm not sure if it was actually the national team back then, but they did go over to the World Championships twice. One in 54, I believe, and 58, and they ski raced around Europe. My dad ski raced, my brother ski raced the national team.
It's great because I know 2 people before me have been on the national team, and I really want to do that too.
It sort of shows him that it's a possibility that you can get there on the national team or the Olympics, and that people that he is related to have done that before, so it makes the goal more tangible, I think.
Knowing his uncle, Don Stevens, raced at the 1988 Olympics may help to feed his competitiveness.
He's always been competitive. He always wants to figure out how to win it, whatever sport it is. He wants to figure out how to play it and win it.
I think he was born with it. He's always been competitive, but a friendly competitive. So he makes friends with the other competitors and they compete against each other, but it's all friendly competition. But he likes to ski race with other kids that are good or better than him. That makes him better.
All right, guys, go.
He's pretty casual. My brother's pretty casual and he skis with him, and Dylan likes to figure things out on his own, and he has his own competitiveness.
I feel like there's someone behind you and that makes you go faster. And faster is like, makes it more fun.
Ski racing competitively doesn't stop at Dylan. His easygoing approach on the hill is now rubbing off on his little brothers.
My brother Dylan would tell us to relax and have fun.
I think that they try to ski just as well as Dylan does. They strive for their best, and they do look up to him.
I would tell them just go have fun and make the best out of it.
A 25. Whistler Cupot nézitek, mi Magyarországról vagyunk. Lássuk a végeredményt.
The final award ceremony started with the U14 Women's GS, with 2 Canadians making it on the podium. Anna Large earned the bronze, and Tessa Foote finished in second, while Noah Zolos from Hungary took home the gold medal. In the U14 men's slalom, Yudai Kanazawa from Japan came in third, and Serbia's Alexa Tomovic grabbed the silver. On top of the podium is Canadian Hemming Sola with the gold. On to the U16 men's and women's team event. Tied for third, we have Switzerland and Australia. Norway skiers were running a bit behind for the medal ceremony, but not up at the race course. They took home the silver. And the winner is, with home field advantage, Team Canada. Moving on to the Nancy Green Award for top performance by a Canadian female. For the U14s, with her silver in the GS, is Tessa Foote from Ontario. And also from Ontario, Cassidy Gray takes it for the U16s with her second place finish in the slalom event. For the top performance by a Canadian male, the Dave Murray Award goes to Hemming Sola of BC for the U14s. He came in first in the slalom event. In U16, Raphael Lessard from Quebec takes the honor with a second-place finish in the Super G. The winning club for the U14 level with the most points overall beating out Australia and BC was Team Ontario. And finally, for the announcement we've all been waiting for.
And this year's winner, they're back with us at Whistler Cup, and it was quite fruitful for them because they won the Whistler Cup. Switzerland!
After 5 years off of the Whistler Cup, Switzerland couldn't have asked for a better return.
It feels real good to be back, especially to be on top. It's a real good feeling to be back and to make our place here in Whistler.
They were always happy to ski. We had a really good spirit to all the team together. They could focus on their goal when it was necessary, and they could also have fun when we can have fun. And for that, I'm really proud of them that they could manage that both sides.
We have a great team spirit, and I think this race is going to stay in our heads for a very long time.
That wraps up our coverage of the 25th annual Whistler Cup. Did that go by quick for you? Just think of how fast it went by for these young athletes. Many goals were achieved this weekend, from making it on that podium to setting personal bests and, of course, making new friends. This incredible experience will stick with these athletes forever, and I hope that our show will help keep those memories alive. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks to all the young athletes for really giving it their all weekend. On behalf of the Shaw TV crew, I'm Sarah Wright. We hope you've enjoyed the 2017 Whistler Cup.